Hello. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to shine light on all of the shadows that are in this world we live in. And my intention for all that we're creating is to enlighten the journey by sharing clues that illuminate the paths of many of us exploring. And as we continue to evolve and grow in these times, it's mission critical to be honest and transparent with ourselves and the universe. So it's interesting because I've been fascinated by technology my whole life, being a digital native and surrounded by the space and just experiencing and learning as we go. And I always had this feeling that I was, being watched, whether it's somebody might be hacking into my webcam or listening to the microphone on my cell phone and just always watching. And it's interesting because as I continued, and I'm hiding my phone so I don't see it, because one of the studies around technology has shown the mere presence of a cell phone in your line of sight actually distracts you and you have the temptation to grab it, even if it's not mission critical or the phone might not be making sounds or face down and etc. So I always felt like I was being watched in this capacity. And as I continued my journey, I learned more about privacy and things of that nature. And I questioned, who would be hacking me? Why do they want to listen and watch me? But I always had this feeling that there was something watching, something that knew. And one of the things is ourselves. So anything that I and you have experienced in your life is inner subconscious. So even if we might not have recognized something, and a great example is, school. If you're in class and you might not be fully engaged, your subconscious sees and hears everything that you do. So it's stored here somewhere. We might have blockages to connecting with it, but our subconscious sees and hears everything we do. And that's so powerful to know and tune into that power that we have within, because we really have all the answers within. And something else that really is unfolding for me as we go is, even though I might not be watched on YouTube or my phone's being tapped or whatever, it does feel like there is a greater good that sees and hears everything that I do. And whether it's karmic or spiritual or whatever you choose to name it, I feel that there is something understanding and here for everything that we're experiencing. So from that place of trust and greatest good of all, I surrender. I let go. There's so much abundant energy in this universe, and I am here to tap into it and to be a conduit for miracles, to share and shine my light everywhere that I go. Thank you, universe. I am calling in all of the energy. I feel it in my palms, and a great experience for us to do this together is if you put your hands above your head in this way and you just feel, you go like this, a little bit resistance, you feel that energy. I feel it. Sure feel. So this is the energy channel that is, my face is a tomato. So this energy channel, I feel the energy coming deep inside of me. I feel this energy between my hands. And as I move my hands back and forth, I feel the energy flowing. And I now invite the energy into my heart space. calling in all of the energy into my heart. I'm so grateful for the energy that is all around us and inside of us. This energy is abundant, and we are energy. Everything is energy. And emotion is energy in motion. So as we connect to our emotions and we are aware on this visceral level, I invite us to flow with that motion of energy and motion. So it's beautiful because when you change your dialogue in this way, so instead of, I'm emotional, or the stigmas around that word, when you break it down and you feel energy in motion. Hello, Jones, how are you? Do you feel the energy in motion? Because it's here, and technology is an example of energy, like powering on our computer, powering this live stream, but also the energy that's traveling through these channels. It's so abundant. Like I literally feel it in my hands. Crazy. So I'm so grateful that we have this medium to connect in this way, because when we tune into our frequency, that is us, that is everything, we feel this connection of our collective energy. So each breath we take is flowing with all of the energy that is and ever will be. So I'm just beyond present to this divine experience that we're all traveling through. And what my personal mission is to be leaving clues that illuminate the journey and path for those that are traveling. And a quote that deeply resonates with me is, instead of following a path because, society creates paths that they recommend and they provide signs of which way to go when there's a fork in the road, I am choosing to create my own path and leave a trail. So as we are evolving in 2020, today is October 23rd, 2020. Happy birthday to Amanda Ponte, my lovely cousin and radiant light that inspires me endlessly. It's her birthday. So as we're traveling in this evolving time, how can we create new paths and leave trails to empower other people to see, oh, these paths don't fit for me. It doesn't feel right on an intuitive level. So how can I take a step forward in a way that feels really right? So I'm holding this time and space to explain my path and how I am leaving a trail and continuing to deviate from the norm, because it's our responsibility to ask questions and to channel the norms and to just keep stepping outside of our comfort zone, because that's when we expand. That's how we grow. So my name is Jamie Levy. I am 23 years young. And I'm so grateful to be a leading voice of advocacy in these times. So I recently resigned from my corporate job last Friday. So it's officially a week from my last day. And I had a lot of resistance letting go. However, I knew that this was what I needed to do to expand my impact and fully step into my light and my power. So if you are experiencing feelings of tension within, whether it resonates as, a knot in your stomach or anxiety or however you choose to name it, I invite you to sit with it, to really feel the discomfort and use the pain as a portal. So this portal is creating infinite possibilities for us to imagine and grow. So when we use the pain as a portal, imagine where it's taking you. So my pain is around silencing our power and trying to fit into this teeny tiny box of normal, of what we're supposed to be happy. And my pain was trying to squeeze myself into this teeny tiny box. And I'm using this pain as a portal to grow and expand my impact, to be free and step into my power of all that I am and all that we are, because we are. So another quote that I love is that we are a drop in the ocean and the entire ocean itself. And I feel that that speaks truth to the impact that each of us has. And in these crazy times, I want to emphasize the fact that we all matter. We all have an impact. Every single thing we do matters and has a ripple effect in the world. And part of my pain was the misconception that I didn't matter, that what I thought didn't have an impact on the greater good, that it didn't matter if I did nothing or everything, because what is destined to be is destined to be. And there's been many examples that have demonstrated that is false. So it's a false belief. And fear, if you break it down by the letters, can be interpreted as false evidence appearing real. I'll say that again. Fear, false evidence appearing real. That's a deep one. So as we break that down and we think about the false evidence or seeing something, and then the story in our head is like, oh, this is a triangle. Oh, this is black. Who said this is black? Who said this is triangle? This is the evidence. And the false story in our head is making it appear real. This is a Shungite pyramid. It could look square. It could look triangle. It could look like a square and a triangle. Trippy, right? So it's a great example of what is the evidence and how do we choose to look at it? What is the perspective in which we choose to look at it? Do we look at it head on? Does it look like a triangle? Or does it look like a square? Or a pyramid? So I think that's a cool example. And the reason why I have this Shungite pyramid with me is to assist with EMF energy. So the computer has a lot of energy, as I'm sure you're feeling from your end too. So having something like this helps me ground, and it's a tangible object that I can hold on to. I can charge it with intentions of love and protection. So if you're new to crystals, I encourage you to follow your intuition and see what minerals and stones and objects really resonate with you. And if you're on your journey, perhaps you see a natural stone on your path. You pick it up and it really resonates with you. Perhaps it's the color, the shape, the texture. I invite you to pick it up and to give it an intention. So an example with this is infusing intention through word. Thank you, Shungite Crystal, for protecting me, for providing a shield of protection around me, and for infusing love and light into my space. Thank you. So it's a really simple way to infuse intention into an object. And we'll dive into other ways to do this in more detail in the future, but this is just a quick example of the importance of our perspective, how we are looking at something, and how we are interpreting what that something might be. So I'm just really grateful that we're able to have this conversation in real time, because the energy is abundant, and I know that you feel it, and I know that everything that we do is flourishing the energy. So to backtrack, the pain is the portal. So where are we going? Where is this portal taking us? And I invite us to imagine the portal taking us to our happy place, to a time and space where we feel enlightened. So let's close our eyes and imagine. Imagine a moment when you are so radiant, when you are shining your light so bright. Imagine pure light radiating from all crevices of your being. There is light shining. So imagine this light radiating your space and expanding throughout time. We are radiant, we are shining our light, it's expanding beyond our sight. Let it shine. Beautiful. The pain is the portal. So now that we've transformed into where our portal takes us, I'm so grateful to be speaking from this place of creation. So I imagine a world where technology empowers our energy rather than drains our battery. So what does that look like? It's evolving and we're transforming as we go. And my mission is to be so honest and transparent around my pain and how this portal is continuing to evolve. So the pain is the portal, the pain is the portal. Where are we going? Nobody knows. So taking a closer look at the pain, specifically technology, it's interesting because I feel like my subconscious, as we mentioned earlier, sees and hears everything we do. And there's a lot of actions that we take that are conscious and then unconscious, so below the surface. And if we're thinking of a metaphor of a flower or a rose, when it's planted, the seed is beneath the soil. So the seed is underneath the soil and it's dark. It's very dark. And the seed is growing, it's planting roots deep within the earth. So these roots are growing deep, far and wide, and they cast a net of underground root systems. And that is where the nourishment comes in to the plant, is through the roots. The soil nourishes, and then as the root system grows deeper, the plant grows to the surface of the soil. So at what point does our plant, that is the metaphor of us, we are the seed. So at what point do we come and emerge into the surface of the earth? So from being underground as that seed, at what point do we grow our roots deep and strong enough to grow tall enough to break through the soil and extend our plant and grow? So this is so powerful, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, and part of the reason why I'm doing this live is because you can't make this shit up. It's so real, it's so real. So from this moment of growth and emerging through the soil into the atmosphere, we are now here. We are growing and extending our system. But having awareness for our root system under the soil, under the ground, in the dark shadows is so important. And when we bring ourselves to this place underground, that could be a metaphor of our subconscious. So taking a look underground at our roots from a place of love and compassion, this is a judgment-free zone. Our root system is sacred to ourselves. So this is not a light conversation. And I appreciate your openness to exploring in this capacity. So for the example of this real-time, real talk conversation, my subconscious in my root system was tuned into this greater good. Part of that was I left my computer charger in a place that is not accessible to me at this time. It's not in my accessibility at this time. So immediately when I realized I don't have my computer charger and my computer just died, how am I supposed to deliver my mission and story to the world without my laptop charger? So this brought up a lot of uncomfortable feelings underground for me. And I sat with it because I packed up my bag myself. I ensured that I had everything that I needed. And my subconscious definitely knew that I did not have my charger. So I invited myself to sit with this discomfort and think, okay, I forgot my charger. And, it's an example that I am human. And I invite myself to sit with this discomfort and choose to see another way that this is a lesson for me to empower my growth. So instead of staying up late on my laptop like I intended because it was dead, I put pen to paper and I sat with myself and I just created on paper. And it was really cool because when you have a blank piece of paper, it's judgment free. You can start anywhere. It's infinite possibilities. So when you approach life from this blank canvas, this blank piece of paper, what can you create? So what can you create from this blank slate, this clean slate? What can we create? It's really powerful when you think about that. Powerful, I just made a new word. Yes. So as I said, this is a judgment-free zone. We can make things up as we go because we're traveling in a place that nobody knows. So part of that rhymes, and I love when there are serendipitous rhymes. I am exploring what it feels like to be a poet and to speak in verses and verbiage that feels aligned and has flow. So although I was very sad that I didn't have my laptop charger and I didn't meet my personal expectations of excellence, by choosing to use the pain as a portal, it transported me to a place where I can be just as impactful, if not more, with a blank piece of paper. And that's really cool because, taking a step back as we are connected collectively and there's so much magic in this world, I'm also deeply aware that technology is not accessible to everyone. I'm so blessed that I have technology in my life. I'm grateful for my awareness of the power and impact every time I pick up my device and look at this virtual space. And I don't take that lightly. I'm also so grateful that I live with my family and that my dad has this desktop in the house where I can connect in this way. So even though I don't have my laptop and I'm missing my charger, I'm still able to go live on YouTube and speak my truth and document this pivotal time in my personal journey. It's crazy. It's really cool. And I'm so grateful, and I don't take this lightly at all. It is such a blessing to be able to speak into the universe in this capacity and have it documented for the future. And I know that this is a stream of consciousness conversation and it's been 25 minutes, but I have a lot more to say. And we're just scratching the surface here and setting the intention for what's to come, which is a lot's to come. I'm really excited. But one of the other challenges that I face with myself is when I get really excited, the voice in my head says, "Calm down, don't be so excited. Why are you so excited?" But I'm really excited. I'm so empowered and invigorated by this conversation. And I invite you to get excited too about whatever really lights you up. Let's be accountability partners in continuing enlightening ourselves, because when we enlighten ourselves, we shine so bright. And when we're shining our light, people see it and then they realize, OMG, that light is a reflection of me. So this mirror is literally everything that we are. We are a mirror for the world. So any light that you are feeling or seeing in this moment, that's you. You are the light. You are the lighthouse. You are light and love, and everywhere you go, you shine so bright. And that's really powerful. So my mission is to empower this enlightenment within ourselves so we can radiate the paths, because there is no path. We go wherever we want. We take the steps as we go. So instead of following these paths, I'm going to make a little drawing example with my blank piece of paper. So this blank piece of paper is a metaphorical of life. So life is a blank slate. You can do whatever you want and make it however you want. Society has a path for us. So this is a fork in the road that society creates for us. This is the path they provide. And some societies label this as good and bad, which is not real. We made that up. That's all made up. It's all a story. So when society says you can go left or right, okay, well, what if you don't feel like going left or right? What if you're going left and you're like, where am I? This doesn't feel aligned. What if you're going right and you're like, I don't really match this. This doesn't feel right for me. I don't feel enlightened. I feel dimmed. I feel like when I'm going on this path, it's actually dimming my light. And oh my gosh, I'm over here and now my light's practically off. What happened to my light? How do I light it up again? So what I'm here to say is that I have a couple pens. Other than that, is that we can go wherever we want. So we can actually it's fine. So we can go wherever we want and create the paths as we go. And we trust that when we create our unique paths and we go where our heart flows and our energy is a compass and we're flowing and growing and experiencing life in new ways that nobody knows, we can really see and feel in new ways. So really trusting that our life is like a blank slate and we can travel wherever feels flow. So in traveling this blank slate of life, wherever we go, we leave a trail. And as we continue to enlighten ourselves and as a ripple effect enlightening others, we now leave a trail of light. So there are little light trails everywhere so that when somebody new enters this experience, they can come in and then they go, whoa, look at all the lights. There's so many ways to go. So they can create their own path, a new path. And in this new path, they don't need to be in the darkness anymore. They can travel and create their own path in the light with no fright. So imagine exploring in a world that's not just darkness. It's not just this light or no light. It's a mixture. It's a scale. It's a gradient. So that's my intention, and I appreciate the universe receiving this message and your capacity for exploring in this way, because it's so cool that we can leave clues as we go, exploring the unknown, leaving these lighthouses for people to explore in their unique journey and have a nightlight, have a light that illuminates the darkness so they can get the clue and be like, oh, yes, this is awesome. And then they can make their own decision of what step they want to take next. So I know this is like a really big concept, and I'm going to stop prefacing myself because I trust that you are hearing what you need to hear, because everyone hears what they are ready to hear when they're open to receiving those messages. So thank you. I trust that we're all where we need to be when we're ready to be there. And sometimes we start before we're ready. So done, not perfect. And that's what this video is. So it's really interesting because, nobody knows. And we're just exploring as we go. So on this path of exploration, I have been really challenging myself to practice what I'm preaching here, to expand outside of my comfort zone. And I keep getting up to the edge and like pushing the comfort zone a little bit bigger. Example, making this YouTube live. I have recorded numerous videos of myself speaking in this capacity, so tuned in, and then I just don't publish them. They like stay on my computer. And my excuse was, oh, all of the videos on my computer, all the audio I recorded, it's on my computer and I don't have my charger. So I guess, that's it. So instead of giving up, I'm stepping forward in action. And yes, this background is what it is. It's my dad's room and I'm using my dad's computer. And I'm so grateful for my father that created the space for me to share and be myself. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the other pain as the portal example that I have experienced literally right before this recording was that I was doing my thing and I knocked over my water. And as I mentioned, I love to do things on paper. So my desk in my room has lots of papers. And I spilled water on my favorite papers, which is fine because it's just water. But I also spilled it on my cell phone. And I was on the phone. I was on hold with Home Depot. And it's just like, why did I spill water on my phone? Like, really? Like, I'm self-sabotaging on a whole new level. And that's part of the subconscious, like, really running the show. And that's why I feel like it's so important to speak light to this conversation, because we all have our conscious and subconscious. So as we strengthen our subconscious and we're aware of moments like that, when it's like, well, that was my subconscious. I clearly had my water without the cap on it, and I'm like flinging my body in a way that knocked it over. So naturally, I freaked out. I was screaming and crying. It was very emotional. And I dried off my phone immediately. The woman takes me off hold. Hello. Da, 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 da. I was like, hi, can you hear me? She's like, what? What was that? I can't really hear you. I was like, I just spilled water on my phone. Can you hear me? And she heard me. It was fine. They had the materials in stock. We're all good to go. So it was fine. Everything's always fine. But in that moment, I was not fine. It did not feel fine. So when we feel these pain moments, reminding ourselves that the pain is the portal and that obstacles are detours in the right direction. So having a level of awareness that, I'm clearly not grounded if I am knocking over water, and I kept cleaning it up. And in the process of me cleaning it up, I was not grounded. I was very emotionally charged, and I'm taking the towel and I'm wiping the table, and then water comes off the edge of the table, and on the ground I have my laptop case with my dead computer. And, even though it's not charged, it is still my laptop. So I just started screaming. I'm like, why did I just literally dump water onto my computer? It was fine. I just missed it. I dried off the remnants. Everything was fine. That's why it was in the case. But I was like, Jamie, what's going on here? What are you doing? Why is this a thing? And it makes me really passionate about speaking light to this conversation, because through my journey and exploration, I'm really serious about connecting with people on an individual level. So although my past career was in social media marketing and everything in between, I feel this disconnect, this tension between just posting shit online, excuse my French, to just do it versus connecting with people one-on-one. And yesterday I had a very soulful conversation with somebody that was also a bit tech averse and had this distance with the technology. And it was beautiful because through our one-on-one conversation, we felt so connected through this medium. And that was a beautiful example of technology for good, of technology for creating this connection, this container of compassion, of sharing energy through the space, through the time, through the internet waves, whatever we call it. It's real, we feel it. So it was beautiful because in our conversation, I felt seen and heard on a new level, which was just so beautiful. And we also talked about how we meditate with our computer. So prior to turning it on, I will smudge with Palo Santo and, clear the energy and infuse intentions for what I'm doing in that moment. So intentions of love and sharing light through time and space, using this technology as a vehicle for transporting that. So, from this place of love and light, I'm so grateful that I've created time and space to call in all that we are creating, which is a lot. So, I invite you to imagine all that lights you up, the things that make you smile from the inside out. Imagine them and call them into this space as they are supporting you in every which way. So, my favorite creation is evolving so much, and it's going to continue evolving. So I'm practicing patience, I'm applying agility, and I'm innovating and igniting magic. So what I'm working on is the Meep directory. Meep, meep.directory. So if you type that into your internet browser, you will find all that I'm working on. And it's evolving as we go. And part of my conversation in this moment is to call in how exactly it's evolving, to clarify the action items and really transform what it means to have a website and share an offering online, because it's so much more than just a website. It's really a vehicle for transformation. And my intention is to connect with people one-on-one in this way. So then we can dive deeper into what lights you up and how can we call more of that into your life. So what lights me up is speaking and being a vehicle for this conversation, because I know it's really scary, and just cultivating courage to keep going, to keep expanding, and providing tools to foster this building of new creations in 2020 and beyond. So the Meep directory is an all-in-one place to capture love and light. So my intention is to really think about what resources have empowered me on my journey, and what do I wish I had more of, and how can I consolidate that into one place. So through my conversations with our community, I'm asking these same questions and adding them to our directory. So at this moment, MEEP stands for Meditative Experiences Evolving Purpose. So meditative is interpreted as any time that you are fully aware, and I try to create meditative moments throughout my whole day. So this now, in a way, can be interpreted as a meditative moment of me cultivating this stream of consciousness, speaking my truth into this moment. So I'm meditating in my head of being really present of what's happening and how can I bring this into the world. Another example of a meditative moment is anytime you really take a breath and you're present with your breathing. One breath is really all it takes. So one of the biggest challenges I continue to have, is the story around, I can't meditate, I'm not good at meditating. Why does it need to be this like big thing? It's really just any breath that returns you back to me. So connecting to that inner light inside, and whatever makes you ignite your love and light, that's meditative. So removing all of the stories and boundaries around what that might mean, and creating your own definition of what a meditative moment feels for you. Now, building on that, a meditative experience is when you're experiencing life through your senses. So something that we dive really deep into is sensory discovery. Ooh. So sensory discovery is discovering life through your senses. So feeling, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. And we really dive into what ignites the senses. And when you are aware of your senses in this capacity, how does that ignite your inner sense, your intuition, that magical sensory discovery, that gut feeling? So as we explore, how do we ignite more of these intuitive moments? And that's what I'm really excited about, and what I'm personally challenging myself every day of, how can I foster this flow within me to flow with the energy around me? So we definitely dive deeper into this in the Meep mentorship, but this is just a high level explanation of meditative experiences. So another example would be when you're eating, to make it a meditative meal. So really tasting what it feels like, what it smells like, and being fully present in your sensory experience, and making it a meditative moment because you're really just so present in that moment. And again, this is a practice, so we're building the muscles as we go, and our brain is a muscle, so it needs training, and it needs, attention in that way to strengthen. So in part of being so transparent and honest around my experience as a Meep motivator is really just speaking truth to all of this. So, for example, when I'm eating, oftentimes my train of thought will just spiral. And, I'm like, Jamie, bring it back. Like, you're eating. Like, this tastes awesome. Why are you, thinking like a thought train and not being present with your meal? Because so often I'll be eating, get lost in a train of thought, and I'm like, where did my food go? Oh, I ate it all and I didn't even really taste it. So that's the problem we're trying to solve with our meditative experiences. So if that's something that resonates with you, I'm definitely interested in continuing the conversation and understanding what tools and resources would really empower you to expand on your sensory discovery and really cultivate more meditative moments. So as we move on to evolving, I get really excited about this too. I get excited about everything, and I'm just grateful that I can be excited and channel my excitement and share it with the world, or the internet, whatever you want to call it, the universe. So evolving is really putting these things into practice. So how do we evolve in these times? Evolving ourselves, and as an effect, evolving everything, because we are everything, which is so cool. So that's why my main focus now is to really bring these practices to life in my own life, so I can evolve myself, and as a ripple effect, be evolving everything. So specifically in the realm of technology, how can we evolve our experiences to foster flourishing? So I'm the director of engagement of the Digital Wellness Collective, and I'm so grateful to be deeply involved in these conversations, because there's a lot that needs to evolve to enhance our experiences, because we are human beings. We are sensory, feeling, everything. So how can we evolve our technology to adapt to our agile lifestyles? So the pandemic is a great example of this, because now we're all online more than ever. So with this increased time in front of screens, how do we make ourselves feel free? It's wild. It's a lot to unpack. And part of that is what we're addressing in the Digital Wellness Certification course. So if evolving technology is something that really lights you up, let's talk and let's continue the conversation in the certification course, because we dive into the 10 topics of the flourishing wheel, and we really just provide you with the tools and resources to bring that to life, which is really so empowering. And it's just amazing. What really comes to mind with me, and the example I just shared about forgetting my charger, water on my technology, clearly I have a subconscious resistance to my devices. So how can we cultivate awareness around that resistance? Why is that coming up? And then what can we incorporate to prevent those blocks? So once we're aware of those blocks, how can we remove the blocks so we can enhance that flow, so we can really flow with our technology, instead of us flowing, oh, roadblock, oh, start again. That's like not helping. However, every roadblock and every obstacle is a detour in the right direction. So if your computer crashes, if there's a glitch or something challenging, yes, honor the frustration, honor the emotions that come up, and then remind yourself that these emotions are energy in motion. So how can we, now that we're aware of these blocks, move the block or move around the block? So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm creating my own path to move around the blocks, because the blocks, some blocks are giant boulders and they're pretty impossible to move. And, through my journey of trying to move a boulder, and I'm just exerting all of my energy into this boulder. Move, we gotta move the boulder. What happens? We release all of our energy, and then there's none left. And the boulder has not moved. That boulder is a metaphor for many things in my life, and I hope that it resonates with you. And I invite us to say, thank you, boulder. I'm so glad I could practice releasing my energy in this way. Thank you for the lessons that you taught me in trying to move this boulder, and I surrender. I am no longer pushing this boulder. I understand that you are here to stay. I trust that we're all in the right place, and I choose to change my course of my energy to a new path, to create a new path of energy. So, in this detour, I choose to give energy to myself and my journey. So as we create new paths, we can shine light to our future selves for everyone that crosses our path along this journey, and share our energy in this way. Because when we change our lens of how we're choosing to perceive the story of our life that is me, we can really change that and divert our energy into a way that is fulfilling and fostering more growth. And that is the most beautiful segue to our purpose. Why are we here? What are the gifts that we have to share with the world? And how can we enlighten them? So, yes, I'm 23. I'm still learning my life and my journey, and I'm so grateful to be establishing this foundation so early in my life so I can really track my progress and be so authentic in the roadblocks that keep coming up for me, and that we can work together to move around them, go over them, go under them, whatever we have to do. I am so aware that we are learning together, and that's why I'm so excited about the Meep movement, because together we flourish. And as we continue to grow and expand, there's so much we have to talk about. So that's what I feel my purpose is. However, I'm not putting myself in a box anymore. So my purpose is to shine my light as bright as I possibly can. And I have a deep feeling that your purpose is the same or similar. Whatever resonates with you, let's call it into this space. Meditative experiences, evolving purpose. Oh my. Releasing all of the energy that no longer serves us. So, our purpose, our passions, what lights us up in this world, what is mission critical to bring our purpose to life. And if that purpose is enlightenment, what lights you up, and how can we bring more of that into our lives? That is Meep. Meditative experiences, evolving purpose. So packed with meaning, and at the same time, it's a really fun word to say. Meep, 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 meep. So it's also a great way when we are feeling energy and emotion, to have a word to call it. So instead of terms that might be charged in ways that don't serve our purpose, renaming that emotion. So that's what I think is really cool and unique about Meep, is that it's a catch-all word. So you can say it and name your emotions based on the tone of how you say it. So if you're like, meep, it's like, whatever that means to you. Or you could be like, meep, 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 meep. So it's cool because I invite us to rename our emotions on the Meep spectrum that is infinite and ever-flowing. So instead of labeling ourselves with something, for example, sad, we can say, I feel meepy, meep. And instead of getting caught in the story that, oh, I'm sad, I fit in this sad box. You are not in a box. You are everything. You are literally everything. So when we feel emotion, energy in motion inside of us, how can we foster flow to move that stagnation? Because oftentimes society, or whatever you call it in your dictionary of self, from the most compassionate place. All of this is coming from love, to be clear. So prefacing any sassy comments with that. So when we are feeling emotion, how can we move the blocks? So it's continuous energy in motion. Another metaphor for feelings in this way is the weather. So the weather is always changing. It's not always cloudy. It's not always a thunderstorm. The sun is always behind the clouds. So if we see our emotions as transitory, as energy in motion, ever flowing, instead of labeling it and sticking it in our state of being, instead of labeling ourselves of, I am sad, no, absolutely not. You are everything. I am, period. I am. I am. I am. We are everything. It's so empowering. So really ignite your energy. So when you feel energy in motion, I invite us to name it through our expression of energy. And an expression is sound. So when we say meep, 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 we can let it flow through us, the energy and motion, and honoring the pain when we're sad. Meep, 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 meep. And then you know, just whatever feels right for you. So this community conversation is ever flowing and evolving. It is from a place of love. And when we give ourselves permission to break free from the barriers and realize that we are everything, we can just keep flowing. And as we say meep, we can remember, oh, just saying meep is a meditative experience evolving my purpose. Wow, that's empowering. Literally. So each time we say it, we are coming back to ourselves, that seed within, and nurturing it and, you know, making it grow. So in these moments of energy and motion, another great way to align with ourselves, our inner me, is just to give ourselves a hug. So squeeze really tight and remember it's a hug coming from a place of love, igniting love inside and around us. I love you, I love you, I love you. Me, 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 me. Thank you, time. Thank you, space. I trust that we're all in the right place, and especially now, hugs are so special and sacred to the self, and I have been challenging myself to give myself more hugs, especially in the morning, like getting up, just like a nice hug. You can also incorporate kisses. Whatever feels aligned with you that ignites more light within, just keep sparking that, because there's so much love in this space. So as we continue to expand, now that we have reached the 1 hour mark, I need to work on my elevator pitch of what Meep is, but I think it's important that we're unpacking the meaning, because that's what's so beautiful about this 4-letter word, Meep, is that it means meditative experiences, evolving purpose, which is so powerful. And I'm so grateful to be expanding consciousness in this way. So we have a lot of love supporting and empowering this Meep movement, particularly from the Greenhouse Incubator as part of the Earth Farm Project. Light workers are coming together to foster their offerings and really cultivate confidence, speak their truth, and bring communities together to foster this growth. So I'm so grateful for the greenhouse and incubating myself and what we're creating and cultivating together. In addition to the Digital Wellness Collective, people around the globe offering digital wellness solutions to really empower and enlighten the future of technology. In addition to our well care community, transforming sick care to well care. That's the conversation that we're in. And it's about preventing these challenges instead of following the path and getting the same result every time. So we are continuing this conversation in every moment, because every breath we take is empowering our collective consciousness. We all breathe the same air. As it cycles throughout the world, it's like so divine. And I'm just so grateful, because I am calling in all of the love and light, and I feel this energy on a cosmic level. And as I continue to ground myself, I am trusting that my roots are growing deeper. And something that's really beautiful when you study trees and ecotherapy is that the root system of trees are so interconnected, and a metaphor for us and this planet and this life. So in the event a tree gets sick, the surrounding trees' root systems are all interconnected, and they provide nutrients to heal the sick tree. That is so powerful. That is so beyond demonstrative of our interconnectedness in this life. So, as we move forward, I am choosing to trust that our internal root system of our subconscious selves is interconnected and ever healing. So the more that we heal our own root system, the more nutrients we have to provide for the roots surrounding us in our area, in our environment. And what technology demonstrates is that our digital root system also impacts the collective. That's so powerful. So, as we continue, I'm so grateful and excited to share that I am launching our Meep mentorship. So you can now register to get on the wait list for our January offering of the Meep mentorship program. And we're going to be diving into these topics in a beautiful way that fosters natural unfolding and enlightenment to empower this conversation to continue and to share love and light throughout the world. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to share my light and my love with the world in this way. And through my energy practices as a master Reiki practitioner, I have deepened this connection to a way and level that I didn't know was possible. And it's an example that anything is possible. And, if you can imagine it, it can be. And I encourage us to imagine outside of the realm or box that we might be thinking we're in. So when we are creating from this place of infinite possibilities, we can check our blind spots and be aware of what we might not have seen in our blind spot that was probably there the whole time and might be, a little bit dangerous. But then again, is danger even real? So we'll be diving into these topics in more detail in the Meep mentorship. And what I feel really called to do is connect with people one-on-one. So that's why it's a mentorship. So we are going to connect one-on-one, dive into these conversations and topics, and really provide the tools and resources for you to call it in to your life. So it's really beautiful and divine. And I'm just so grateful that this is what I have made space for to call in to my life, because it's truly divine. Like really, 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 really is. So I think it's cool that YouTube can let me live stream and share my stream of consciousness in this way. And if you happen to see this today, October 23rd, 2020, tomorrow, October 24th, 2020, I am continuing the conversation in the Youth for Youth Summit. So 60 plus youth around the globe, because this is a global conversation, are coming together to dive into solutions to our social dilemma and really just cultivate this conversation to embrace courage and bring to life what does the world need, and what do each of us have to offer to really bring this to life. So there's a lot that we're going to dive into deeper, and this is just the beginning and we're just scratching the surface. But I'm so blessed to be in this conversation, to be speaking to truth of all that we're creating. And I look forward to continuing the conversation in the Meep mentorship. So if this sparks interest and curiosity within, let's definitely have an introductory call so we can, see what flow is best for you in this time. And we'll keep it going. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I feel like this past hour and 8 minutes has been like a dream almost, but I'm embracing fear and trusting that it is false evidence appearing real. So even though, fear is real, but it's not real. I am cultivating courage to end this live stream and publish it anyway, because there's a lot of important things that we covered. Everything's important. Everything happens for a reason. And I trust that we all receive the lessons that we need to further our journey and empower our impact when we're ready to receive them. So whether you see this now, thank you, Jones, for tuning in this whole time, or later when this is on the replay, I look forward to continuing this conversation and cultivating Meep moments. Meep, 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 meep. Maybe we could do a Meep song together next. Meep, 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 meep. Thank you. I love you. Until next time. Oh. Sending love and light your way.